The moment is here again, folks. Another Ultimate series has come to an end. The last page has been turned on the OG4. The Ultimates by DenizCamp and Juan Fieri was the fourth title in the relaunched Ultimate Universe, joining the likes of Spider-Man, the X-Men, and Black Panther. In the universe that they reside, the world was remade by an evil version of Mr. Fantastic known as the Maker. The Maker systematically removed various heroes from coming into being that would threaten his reign, sliced up the world into kingdoms that are ruled by twisted versions of some heroes he spared in the eyes of an unknowing public. One member of the public, Howard Stark, finds this out and makes some desperate moves to stop the Maker from continuing his schemes. Through some sci-fi time travel mumbo jumbo, Howard Stark makes a time machine with Dr. Doom, more on him later. The Maker and Howard Stark are locked away in the Maker's base for thousands of years, their time and 2 years, our time. In the 2 years afforded to him, Tony Stark must gather allies to prepare for the return of the Maker. He must form the Ultimates. Why are they called the Ultimates and not the Avengers? Well, Tony came up with it when he was 5 years old. Also, someone else takes that name, more on them later. For the most part, I enjoyed the Ultimates. The art is fucking phenomenal, the writing is great, but walking away from this book, I don't really feel like I got to know these people as a team because ultimately the Ultimates isn't really about the team. And that's one of the worst and best parts of the book. The Ultimates is broken up into 4 blocks. Finding the candidates, creating superheroes, making the world what it was supposed to be. But they quickly find out that that's not going to work. Lightning can't strike twice, and this world is a lot more complicated and ruined than one might think. For example, Tony sends out these things called origin boxes. You get a box, you get the powers you're supposed to have. But that disperse of power doesn't work. The powers are either rejected or result in complete disaster. Only a few origin boxes work, and that's just not enough. Another revelation of ruin is Tony going to an island in the Pacific in search of an Hulk army. What he discovers is a village of people ravaged by gamma radiation with a sole protector, Jonah the She-Hulk. She does agree to join the team as long as Tony agrees to fix their island. This gets the attention of the Ultimates' first big bad, the Hulk. In this universe, Banner is in complete control. He's also conquered the city of Kunlun and is the immortal Iron Fist. Yes, you heard that right. Before the confrontation with the Hulk, Tony does acquire more allies in the form of Thor and Sif, Giant Man and the Wasp, Captain America and Hawkeye, Jim Hammond, the Human Torch, America Chavez, and Dr. Doom. I will get back to you. Hey, don't look at me like that. I'm coming back to you, man. I'm coming back, all right? Just calm down. Don't glare at me. Jeez. They all get into a scrap with the Hulk and his acolytes that result in all of them dying. Yeah, they all die. Doom gets them out with his time machine, but they all died. They aren't ready. For the Hulk, for the Maker, for the world, they aren't ready. Which leads us to part 2. The Ultimates lick their wounds. Some heal, some depart to grander adventures, and some new ones join the fight. But the consensus is made that they're doing this wrong. They can't fix the world if they're constantly looking backwards, trying to rely on old symbols. Those symbols don't mean anything to this current world because they never existed in the first place. You can't fix the world quietly. You have to be upfront. You have to be out in the open. You gotta be bold. Which leads us to part 3, the network. After the Ultimates decide to be more open in their mission, with inspiration from Luke Cage and America Chavez, they decided to create a worldwide network that can invite everyone in. A network that can help anyone become an Ultimate. Not from powers, but from the want to change the world to stop the current and incoming injustices. To truly fix the world. I really like how this series kind of changed the whole entire fix the world thing. It's because you see those memes where it's just like you get powers and it's just like, I'm going to save the world, and then the other guy's just like, I'm going to fix the world.
Use our powers to fight crime and save the world. But the world doesn't need saving. It just needs to be fixed.
But I like how this book was able to kind of shift that into more of a positive saying, where it's just like, yeah, we're going to fix the world, but we're not going to do it. They do use force, but it's not like, you know, they don't pull a Watchman. They're actually, it's a collective effort in inviting normal citizens in, revealing the truth outright, and, you know, trying to fight the real bad guys. The Ultimates was never about the team. It's not going to take 8 people to save the world. It's going to take 8 billion. is going to take teaching, learning, the sharing of knowledge, empathy, togetherness to forge a new path forward into a better tomorrow. A network, a movement, a community. That's what saves the world. That's what fixes the world. Before we move into part 4 of the series, the messier part of the bunch, let's talk about some of the characters that make up this book. Charlie, Hawkeye. I love this version of Hawkeye. Equally a team player and a solo act. I love their relationship with Cap, instant friendship and respect for one another on the field. I also love the arsenal Camp gave this version of Hawkeye. I think people, well, mostly the MCU, forget to have a little imagination when it comes to the archery characters. There's a reason why these characters stand amongst gods. They are very good at their one skill. Plus, they have an insane amount of impossible tech to back them up. A+ ultimate reinterpretation. I love Jim Hammond's inclusion on the team and his evolution later in the series. Human Torch being on the team makes it feel a little bit more unique, a little bit more to themselves. I've never seen, of course there's the Invaders, but yeah, I've never seen the Human Torch on a superhero team like that. And if that exists, call me out in the comments. Also, he killed Hitler, so A+ ultimate representation. America Chavez is a powerhouse of cosmic power and empathy. Jonah is a cool She-Hulk. Cap is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Tony is naive and hopeful with a darker path unknowingly paved in front of him. But I'm glad that never really shakes his resolve in this series. He truly does believe in making a better world without doing something insanely sinister. He's not building an Ultron in the background or anything. He's really trying to save the world. Hank is sweet, Janet is complicated, Thor and Sif are Thor and Sif. Luke Cage is an incredible addition to this book, a man who was wrongly imprisoned by the Maker's machinations, but still managed to form his bulletproof persona. He forged his mind and his body, hoped to rehabilitate fellow inmates, offering knowledge about self-worth and freedom, and eventually gained some powers himself, causing to lead a revolt against the prison system and become the leader of the Ultimate Avengers. And then there's Doom, the most complicated out of the bunch. Doom in this universe isn't Victor Von Doom, he's Reed Richards. A Reed Richards whose fantastic life was warped into a frightful one by an alternate version of himself. Once the Maker gets to this Earth, he makes sure to find this universe's Reed Richards and fuck his shit up. He ruins the flight of the Fantastic Four that results in the death of Reed's potential family. He's then captured and tortured by the Maker and forced to become this version of Doom. After he's freed, he becomes a member of the Ultimates, but is obsessed with recreating the experiment that would have created the Fantastic Four. He wants to do right by the family he was robbed of. He eventually manages to rebuild the Four in the form of the Fantastic Force. That was a lot of fucking Fs. I wrote way too many Fs in that sentence. Ultimate Doom is a magnificent character that I barely scratched the surface of. Even if you don't get around to reading this series, I highly recommend reading these 2 issues. They stand perfectly on their own. While I love these characters, I just wish they had talked to each other a little bit more as a team. As individuals and pairings, they're great. But as a team, they lacked a dynamic. I wanted more scenes like this among them. But like I said before, the Ultimates isn't about the team at the end of the day. It's about the collective. Now let's talk about part 4. The war. 0 months remain, the Maker's coming back, the Ultimates are out in the open, the villains are making moves, all hell is breaking loose around the world. Not only are the Ultimates deployed, the Avengers, led by Luke Cage and made up of reformed prison inmates, are in the field along with the Fantastic Force. The series also becomes intertwined with Ultimate Endgame, which is the final nail of the Ultimate Universe. It's the final, showdown with the Maker and all that stuff. And unfortunately, the covers tell a better story than the story itself. Characters are scattered amongst both titles, monumental things happen to them, and the entire time you're reading the Ultimates, this is a lot to cover with 6 issues left. And by the time you reach the end, you're just like, yeah, that was a lot to cover with 6 issues left. I don't think you got to all of it, Dennis. The first 4 Ultimate series all had a 24-issue exit. Ultimate Wolverine had I think it was like a 6-issue run or like a 12-issue run, and then it got up to 16. That was a surprise to just about everyone reading the Ultimate Universe. DenizCamp has come out and said that a lot of his run was setting up characters that would run past the initial 24-issue run because he thought the Ultimate Universe would keep going. And he also revealed that he had more ideas that he wanted to play out post The Maker before Will Moss, editor of the Ultimate line, told him that they were ending the line. So it makes sense why we got issues introducing characters like Shin Kui so late into the game. We still get a lot of focus on the people that we started this journey with, but it just feels a little messy and disjointed. I didn't really feel the closure that I wanted from this from this series that I thought we were going to get, even with it being intertwined with the Ultimate, with even it being intertwined with Ultimate Endgame. Final issue is an odd one. It's an ending in the case that there's no more after this. If you wanted this, you're shit out of luck. Hold on, I gotta write an apology to all the people I said were foolish for thinking this would happen in The Boys. Let's talk about the actual ending though, not what I wanted. Jonah got her revenge, Wasp got her redemption, and Hank provided some forgiveness. Wasp does something pretty bad in this book. I'm not gonna reveal it here, but it's kind of shitty. This little man gave Bruce the beatdown after watching him kill the hundreds. What the fuck, dude? Why didn't you stop him? And Iron Lad sent out one last call to the Ultimates as the Maker has been free. I'm not gonna lie, this shit kinda baffled me, man. Every ending of the Ultimate series, in my opinion, felt like an ending? I thought even with Ultimate Endgame happening simultaneously, this book would provide some semblance of finality to this series. One last say for the Ultimates themselves. But instead, it's a tee up to the next thing while completing a character's arc for one member of the team, but the entire time I was just like, where's Charlie? Where's Luke? Where's Quicksilver? Where the fuck is everybody? Yes, I know where they actually are because of what's happening in the pages of Ultimate Endgame, but if Wasp and Hank can get to Monster Island, the rest can too, right? This rematch made sense. Have Jonah deliver the final blow, of course, but the team members that aren't in Latveria, fuck him up. This is a wonky conclusion to an otherwise solid book that has me worried about the big conclusion that's coming. But overall, the Ultimates is still something I respect. I didn't enjoy it as much in the reread phase as other Ultimate books, but I love what it stands for and how far it's willing to go discussing the madness of our current world. It felt personal, looked amazing, and gave me some fun new looks at some of my favorite characters. With how intertwined this is to the Ultimate Universe, I can't recommend this book outright. I think you can pick up these three books by themselves without knowing anything about the wider Ultimate Universe. If you do read the Ultimates, read it knowing that eventually you gotta pick up these books to know the whole story. There's still a ton of stuff I didn't cover from this run, big turns, big reveals, more focus on the history of this alternate universe, and fun character redesigns. I hope and pray that they can land the plane come June. Either way, I'll be here talking about it. So what did you think of the Ultimates? Did you like it, love it, hate it? Please let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe to see more, please hit that subscribe button. My next video will be on Matt Fractions and Jorge Jimenez's Batman relaunch, followed by a Supergirl review and my thoughts on the Ultimate Endgame and finale. I also have videos on The Boys, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Invincible Iron Man, and more. With all that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.